Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and buckle up, because today's case is one of those emotional, chaotic, courtroom moments where truth, accountability, and personal struggle all collide in real time. We're stepping into the case of People versus Terrence Smith, a man juggling eviction, threats, health issues, addiction recovery, and family trauma, all while trying to prove to the court that he's turning his life around. But as you're about to see, even when someone is trying to climb out of a hole, one slip, in this case, a positive cocaine test can send everything spiraling. The judge wants answers. The attorneys want clarity. And Terrence, well, he's trying to hold himself together as he explains missed tests, medical complications, and the emotional fallout of a family tragedy, whether you believe he's being honest or just scrambling to avoid consequences. This case raises huge questions. When does a relapse reflect dishonesty, and when does it reflect real human struggle? How much patience should the justice system have, and what counts as a straight answer? Stay tuned, because there are contradictions, emotional outbursts, and one major turning point where the judge finally makes a decision that changes everything. Let's get into it.
Move forward with the plea today.
I'm not going to want to.
Regarding the violation, there would be an admission, and with that admission, he has worked with CMH and gotten into additional programming. He was dropped off here today by my counselor, and he wants to continue to have negative tests, but obviously there's the positive test that just happened.
Well, the problem that I have is that the last testing that he has, he's been unable, then he missed a sample on October 6th. I'll accept his admission, but then on October 6th, he's negative, but then he just comes back positive for cocaine.
There was issues with his rent, and he's worked with his counselor, and he also wants to address the court.
Go ahead. Well, I think he's. Go ahead. What do you want to tell me?
Yeah, as far as what I can tell you, to being bluntly honest, well, I had an eviction on my door because I had my son living with me. So after that, I got that fixed.
This is the first moment where the judge's patience really starts to wear thin, and you can hear it in the tone. Up to this point, the defense is trying to explain the missed tests, the struggles, and the relapse, but the judge is laser-focused on one thing: the pattern. Courts don't just look at an isolated positive test. They look at behavior over time, missed samples, medical excuses, mental health struggles. These things matter, but they also raise doubts when they appear too close together. Notice how the judge immediately points out the inconsistency. Negative, missed test. Then suddenly, cocaine positive. That's a red flag in drug court, because missed tests are typically treated the same as dirty tests. And this sets the tone for everything that follows. Here's something to think about. Do you believe Terrence's explanation so far? Is he being transparent about his relapse? Or does the judge have a point that the timeline doesn't add up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This moment sets up the confrontation that's coming.
I take full accountability for the situation that happened, but when it comes down to, I got a bleeding ulcer. So when I called Cheryl, I told her I couldn't make it in because I was going through a bad spot, but she didn't answer the phone. So I still came in, and I tried to use the bathroom. I got bipolar depression, anxiety. I waited a whole hour. And because she told me I can wait in there. So I waited an hour in there sitting, and I still couldn't use the bathroom because of my respiratory system. So it's been going bad, but it's getting better because ever since that I've been coming to drop, I was using alcohol, but ever since I've been coming to drop, I haven't used no alcohol. So my body is getting better. So when I went in on October the 15th, I dropped, and like I said, I take full responsibility for the situation that happened, but I have been clean, but I went through a rough patch, a little episode. So, I mean, I'm just being honest. I take full accountability. I made a mistake. I went down there. I told my counselor. So my counselor, they didn't want me to ride the bus. So they brought me here.
You have an upcoming appointment?
She made an appointment for CMH to get, I got an appointment for CMH to go in there and talk to them. She said she's going to stay there for like 4 or 5 days from now because I had to come to court. She wanted to take me today.
Right here, the entire energy in the courtroom shifts. Terrence just walked the judge through a deeply emotional explanation. Eviction scares, A bleeding ulcer, mental health struggles, stopping alcohol, gaining weight, the trauma of his brother's death, even the detail of accidentally falling back into the wrong crowd while riding the bus to visit him. It's raw, vulnerable, and for many people watching, extremely relatable. But here's the harsh reality. Courtrooms don't rule based on emotion, they rule on evidence and compliance. Terrence's narrative is heartfelt, but it still doesn't answer the judge's central question. Where did the cocaine come from? Over and over, the judge presses for a clear, direct answer, but Terrence's story widens instead of narrowing. This is where judges get concerned. When explanations become long, emotional, and unfocused, they're often interpreted as avoidance. So even though Terrence expresses accountability, his inability to pinpoint the actual cause of the relapse undermines his credibility. That's exactly why the judge is about to make a sharp, decisive ruling that changes everything. What do you think? Is the judge being too strict? Or is this the point where accountability must come before sympathy? Let us know below.
Every day now, and I've been staying in the house, and she's taking me to community health, and she's everything's going well. Miss Marilyn, my landlord, she's been coming up checking on me, and everything's been going well. They take me to the grocery store.
Your Honor, if I can just add in here, he had four negative tests. There were the two that you indicated, the refusals. He somewhat explained that he had a missed sample. He was negative, and then we had the relapse. So there's, other than the unable or refusing, he is testing negative. There was the most recent test that was positive. What I'd be asking the court today would be if he can get another negative in between now and the next court date. Obviously, that's a very good indication that he is telling the truth and he had a bad night with the positive test. But
I went and told my counselor, and because I quit drinking alcohol, and
there it is, the turning point that brings this entire courtroom interaction to a close. After hearing every explanation, every emotional detail, and every piece of context, the judge ultimately decides to revoke Terrence's bond and push the case out another week. And the reason is simple. Without a clear, direct explanation for the cocaine use, the court can't move forward with trust. In drug-related cases, consistency is everything. Clean tests, honest reporting, and compliance with program rules. Terrence showed progress, but that single relapse and the unclear circumstances surrounding it outweighed the positives in the judge's eyes. This case highlights a real-world challenge in the justice system. Where does compassion end and accountability begin? Terrence's story reflects the struggle many face in recovery, progress mixed with setbacks, emotional trauma mixing with poor decisions. Judges must balance empathy with public safety, program integrity, and fairness. If you found this case as shocking and eye-opening as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns. Your support helps us bring you more real cases, real consequences, and real human stories every week.